Hey everyone, assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel and a really big welcome if you're new here. So as you can see from the thumbnail and the title, this video is going to be all about how I cover my dark circles. And my dark circles are honestly the biggest bane of my life. They're the reason why I started getting into makeup in the first place. I pretty much wear concealer every single day because I feel like without it I look tired / ill, and I know that's not a good thing, but it is what it is. Here we are. So I do have quite an extensive concealer routine. Step 1 is an eye cream and a hydrating base. Now sometimes I'll just use my Ember Release, but other times I feel like an eye cream really does help to make a difference. So this is a new one I'm using. It's from Good Molecules. It's a Yerba Mate Wake Up Eye Gel. It feels amazing on the skin, but it's not too heavy, and I feel like my concealer actually sits better with this on top versus like no eye cream or even just my favourite moisturiser. I put a little bit of rose hip seed oil just over here because I'm getting quite dry skin and eczema just in the inner parts of my eyelids. But yeah, the first step is always making sure that the area is hydrated. I have dark circles and I also have fine lines, which means that I am much more prone to creasing. And honestly guys, there's no concealer that is creaseless. As much as I might claim it on the lid, there's no such thing as a creaseless concealer, unfortunately. But there are steps and tricks that you can take to stop your concealer from creasing. I am just going to put a very light bit of foundation on my skin, on the rest of my face. Okay, and we're back. I know I look even more crazy than before because now you can see the rest of my base is evened out. Got my foundation on and my under eyes are looking super dark, and it just makes you look so tired. And you guys will know if you have got dark under eyes as well. It's just a constant bane of your life. The next step is colour correcting, and this is so vital, but honestly one of my biggest struggles makeup wise as well, because every single time I find a corrector I love, they discontinue it, and it's just the most irritating thing ever. I'm still on the hunt for my perfect corrector, and I have a few here to show you guys. So one of the ones I got recently is this one from Laura Mercier. I got this little set from TK Maxx, and the Laura Mercier one is here. It's a secret concealer, and this is in the shade number 3. Now this is quite dark, so it works as a corrector, but it is fairly dark. I'm going to be swatching these. So there you go, you can see that's a very like strong orange tone. This would be good for if I had a slightly deeper skin tone, I say, and I do use it and I have used it, but it's not the best, not my favourite. The one that I love, and I'm just going to show you this for the purpose of showing you the tone I love, because I'm still on the hunt for one that's like this. This is a Cushion Correct Peach Corrector, and this is what the packaging looked like. They don't stock this anymore for some silly reason, I don't know why. I'm just going to swatch this next to it. Makeup Revolution one is a lot more peachy, brighter as well. So I find that when I use the Laura Mercier one, which is the top one, although the darkness is covered, I sometimes find that it comes through underneath my concealer, depending on what concealer I'm using, so it's not my fave. Whereas the Makeup Revolution one, there's something about the formula of this as well as the colour which just works so well. And then a third corrector that I've been using recently is the LA Girl one, and this is a peach corrector as well. So as you can see, there is a theme here. I feel like if you are medium olive skin tone, you should go for peach correctors. They're the best ones. That unfortunately has not got as much of an orange pool. This is more of a pink toned pool, and what I find is a lot of correctors are made for people with Caucasian skin tones who have blue under eyes. I don't. My under eyes are like a brownie, almost purpley colour. They are not blue. So this, although it does the job, it doesn't do the best job. So I'm really looking for a corrector like this. I'm hoping that Charlotte Tilbury's corrector is similar to this, but I'm not willing to spend Charlotte Tilbury money on that until I've actually been able to swatch it and compare it to my favourite, which is this one. What I'm going to do is, for the purpose of the fact that you can't get the Makeup Revolution one again, I'm going to show you this one, the LA Girl one on one side, and then the Makeup Revolution one on one side, and we can see if there's much of a difference. I am a little bit obsessive about my under eyes, but yeah, basically I'm just going to put a thin layer of corrector on. This is where you want to be careful and put corrector on just where the darkest places are. You don't want to go overboard, because with my method of correcting dark circles, there is 4 to 5 steps, so it's quite a lot going on, and that skin under your eyes is already delicate, so this layer needs to be quite thin. And then I just like to take my ring finger and blend that out. I'm going to do the exact same on the other side. This is my last one, by the way. And after this, I'm going to have to find a replacement. But this tone, although it's literally breaking as I'm speaking, the tone of this is just amazing. So here are both my under eyes colour corrected now. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys can see much of a difference. I just feel like the brighter peachier colour, that middle one on this side, has done a better job of actually counteracting the dark tones. Step number 3 is obviously the concealer, and it's going to come as zero surprise to any of you that I'm going to talk about the Covenant Quan. But in fact, I'm not actually going to talk about it that much because I feel like I have spoken about this concealer so many times. Loads of you, like hundreds of you, have clicked subscribe because of that concealer review, and even the hack video now is finally getting some more views. So I'm going to do the concealer hack. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. If you are interested in this concealer, if you're interested in knowing how to use it best, then definitely check out those 2 videos. I will leave them linked down below. But yeah, you definitely want a concealer that is going to pack coverage. The one I use typically every single day is shade 07. That's my second pot. And again, if you know anything about the Covenant Quan concealer, a little bit goes a very long way. So the fact that I've used up a pot, that says a lot. Sometimes, you know, in the mornings when I don't have time to do this hack, I'll just dip my finger in and rub it between my fingers. But otherwise, if I do have a little bit of extra time, I love doing this hack because I feel like it just makes a product even better than it was before. It looks like I'm applying loads, but it's only the very smallest dab. But because it's so full coverage, it does look like it's going a long way. I love, love, love to use a sponge when it comes to under the eyes. Concealer is full coverage. The sponge is not going to take away too much of a coverage. And the great thing about using a sponge is that it's going to remove excess product that will then end up creasing and making your under eyes look cakey and horrible. Okay, I've blended out that first layer and added a little bit more, just where the darkest area is. And by the way, this sponge I feel like does not get the credit that is due. I've done a review video on this. I'll leave that link below, and also leave link below where I purchased this sponge from. I have repurchased this now. I've repurchased this now 2 times. It's cheaper than a beauty blender, and honestly it's better than a beauty blender. And the reason why I say that is, as you can see, it's just so easy to manipulate and get right into the nooks and crannies of your face. Just look at that coverage, guys. And because 07 is a brightening tone as well, I am just gently sort of bringing the excess concealer down so that this part of my face gets highlighted. And one thing I feel like a lot of people forget is this part here of your face. This part here has a lot of darkness too, because it has a lot of dimension. If you think about it, like this is one of the most 3D parts of your face. So by not putting concealer in that part, your eyes can still end up looking really tired and smaller than they are if you're just putting it sort of under the eye. So make sure you gently pull the concealer up. A tip that I picked up from watching concealer videos for years and years is to let the concealer sit for a little while. You want your concealer to give you a bit more extra coverage. Leave it on your skin for a tiny bit longer, and it does depend. If it's a very, very, very matte concealer and it's drying down, then you don't want to do that. If it dries down very quickly. But if it's a bit more of a creamy concealer, you can leave it on your skin for a bit longer, and that definitely increases the coverage. I'm sure you will agree with me that that is pretty flawlessly concealed. And like I said before, I do have fine lines, but you can see that they have not been caked up with concealer. My fine lines are not looking too bad now. This is where I do things a little bit differently. So that was my step 3. My step 4 is I like to set my under eyes with a pressed powder first, and then I like to go in with a loose powder. And I know that that is quite a faff for a lot of people, but that's what I found works best for me. I have tried time and time again to just copy, like, you know, all the YouTubers and go right into my loose powder and go straight under my eyes. It just does not work for me for whatever reason. Before I go and set it, I like to just go over again with the sponge. And again, remember, the sponge is picking up the excess product and it's preventing the creasing temporarily. So unfortunately, all 3 of these brushes need a wash. But I'm just going to talk you through 3 of my favourite setting brushes. First one is a Real Technique setting brush. I have like 3 of these. Really, really nice size. Perfect for under the eyes. Perfect for setting any other area of your face. It's nice and fluffy. And what you want for a setting brush is something that's not too dense. You want something that's going to be able to put powder on where you want it to, but then be able to not pack it on too much, so you can still kind of blend it in and pat it in. The next one is the Sigma tapered highlighting brush. This is really good because obviously it's nice and long, so you can kind of easily get right into the inner corners. And then this is the biggest one, but I still find it works really well. This is a Morphe M448 brush. I'm just going to use this one today. The first under eye powder that I like to use is something that's yellow toned. Now if you're interested in my whole powder collection, I have done a whole collection review and a bit of a declutter. I'll leave that link down below. I'm going through all my makeup categories, so I've done my foundation collection and declutter and my powder one, so I'm not going to talk about this powder in particular too much, but the one I'm using today is a rhodial banana powder. And as you can see, I've literally just once again gone under with my sponge. I've just prepped, corrected, concealed and powdered, and the final step is to lightly bake. So a lot of people don't like baking, but for me, I definitely find that, especially maybe because of the amount of steps that I do or because of the formula of the Kevyn Aucoin concealer, I find baking is kind of essential. So again, I like to use that same sponge but the other side because it's smaller and just better for powder. And again, I'm not going to go into all the different powders I use. I'm currently just trying to figure out how much I like this Huda Beauty one. This is a powder in the shade Pound Cake. I just get some on my sponge. I look straight into a mirror and I press and roll or dab. And you can see I've not gone crazy with the amount of powder, but I have still got an adequate amount on. So I just need to do that in the corner. And then I don't keep that on for long at all. Definitely do not keep it on for like 15-20 minutes. I'm going to take that same brush I used for my powder and very lightly, I can barely feel the bristles on my skin, just brush the powder off. And then any excess I'm just going to go sort of use that on my T-zone, and then again here very lightly, so lightly that it feels relaxing on the face. I'm going to sweep off that powder, and there you have it. That is my concealed under eye. That's how I cover my dark circles. Please let me know down below if you can see a difference between this under eye and this under eye. I'm going to come a bit closer for you guys. I feel like they're still not completely perfect because my bags have been out of control as well, but my sleeping routine and pattern has just been totally AWOL. Again, since lockdown, I feel like this pandemic has really played havoc with that. But overall, looking way better than before. Yeah, I am happy with that. Let me know what you guys do to achieve your flawless under eye, or as close to flawless as possible. What products do you use? What are your favourites? And if you have any colour corrector recommendations for me, then definitely leave them down below. Hit a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks so much guys, take care, bye.